I especially was arrested and charged with practicing medicine without a license because I said what? I cure AIDS, blindness, diabetes, lupus, herpes, sickle cell.
Alfredo Darrington Bowman, known as Dr. Sebi, was born on November 26, 1933 in Honduras. As a young man, Sebi suffered from asthma, diabetes, impotence and obesity. After failing to find relief through Western medicine, he turned to a traditional herbalist in Mexico. This herbalist placed him on a strict herbal diet and fasting regimen, which Sebi claimed cured all his ailments.
I abstained from all these things, and here I am now at 82. I'm happy.
Inspired by his recovery, Sebi began studying herbs and natural healing practices extensively. He travelled through Africa, North America, Central and South America and the Caribbean, observing and learning about medicinal plants and traditional healing methods. Drawing on his experiences as a steam engineer and his observations of pH balance in nature, Sebi developed the African Biomineral Balance, a system focused on alkaline plant-based nutrition and herbal remedies. He believed that disease was caused by mucus and acidity, and that an alkaline diet could restore health. Sebi started creating his own herbal compounds and began treating others, eventually founding the Usha Research Institute and the Usha Healing Village in Honduras. His approach gained popularity, especially after people were being healed of chronic and incurable diseases.
AIDS patient, she said, "They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you."
In 1987, Dr. Sebi ran ads in New York newspapers, including the New York Post, boldly claiming AIDS has been cured and that he could heal every disease known to man. These statements drew the attention of the New York Attorney General, Robert Abrams, who filed both criminal and civil actions against Sebi and his companies for practicing medicine without a license and making fraudulent therapeutic health claims in violation of consumer protection laws.
I was happy because my mama told me they were coming. And I knew that I had sufficient evidence to prove my position, not only scientifically, empirically, historically, and whatever way they would like.
The legal proceedings took place in the New York Supreme Court.
Okay. Your Honor, is it a fact that the Holy Bible teaches that the herbs are for the healing of the nations? She said yes. Is it a fact that science shows that the human body is carbon-based, and to complement a carbon-based body, you must have a carbon-based substance to complement it, because the body only accepts a substance through the process of chemical affinity. Chemical affinity is important. It's an electrical transport. Chemical affinity. Okay. The body could only accept what it is made of, not something new or alien to it. Last question. Your Honor, is it a fact that the father of medicine, Mr. Hippocrates, the man that established the principle of medical science today, cured every disease known to man? Did he use herbs or chemicals? She said, herbs. I said, thank you very much. I rest my case.
Okay, go ahead.
So I understood that the state were unprepared to defend itself.
The prosecution's case argued that Dr. Sebi was misleading vulnerable patients by advertising unproven cures for incurable diseases and selling unapproved products. The state demanded that Dr. Sebi provide concrete evidence to support his claims.
The judge said that I had to bring one of every patient that I had. I was supposed to take 9. I took 77.
Too good to be true? Well, you be the judge. The lump in Myrtle Rick's left breast is gone.
I haven't had any symptoms or problems, anything.
Sabrina Peterson's son no longer disabled by sickle cell anemia.
He has a lot of energy. I have to make him rest.
Disease is cured by this man. His name is Dr. Sebi, but he won't find a medical degree hanging from his wall. Instead, a certificate of healing.
We have complex things with science, but if we go back to God and use the herbs as God said, then you can see how simple it is. Then
Dr. Sebi believes what ails you can be cured with natural alkaline herbs and a vegetarian diet solely made up of what he calls electric foods, mushrooms, greens, and rye breads without starch.
Hippocrates established the principle of medical science by using herbs to cure diseases, then why the physician using the chemicals?
40 years ago, a doctor in Mexico cured Sebi of diabetes, asthma, and obesity with the very same herbs and diet he dispenses to all of his patients, whether they're suffering from lack of energy or full-blown AIDS.
That package is an intracellular chelation. I'm removing plaque from the system. I'm removing inflammation. That is the base for all disease.
And according to a medical affidavit provided by Dr. Sebi, it's working. It shows a patient diagnosed with HIV in November of 1993 was cured 2 months later. Thousands of patients worldwide swear by his methods and natural herbal medicines.
Each of these individuals testified under oath that they had been diagnosed with diseases such as AIDS, sickle cell anemia, and lupus, and that they were subsequently cured after following Dr. Sebi's regimen. To bolster their testimonies, medical records were submitted as evidence, with each case verified by independent physicians. Dr. Sebi emphasized that he did not produce the diagnostic documents.
Not only did I prove scientifically, but I had the diagnostic sheets, and I do have them today. And those diagnostic sheets didn't come from me. They came from their school, their American accredited, medical accredited school.
News reports from the time confirmed that a jury of 6 men and 6 women found him not guilty on 2 counts of practicing medicine without a license. Dr. Sebi was acquitted of all charges. However, Dr. Sebi's legal challenges did not end with the criminal acquittal. In a separate civil case, the court applied a lower standard. Authorities argued that Dr. Sebi's claims were not supported by recognized scientific or medical evidence because the products he marketed had not undergone clinical trials or received approval from honest regulatory bodies like the FDA. The state maintained that the 70-plus testimonies with medical documentation from accredited medical schools and verification by independent doctors supporting these testimonies were insufficient to prove the efficacy of his treatments, and that only rigorous scientific validation from our honorable and virtuous medical industry would be acceptable for such extraordinary claims. The civil suit also asserted that by helping people cure themselves of diseases, Dr. Sebi was effectively practicing medicine without a license, which is illegal. The state's case was fundamentally about protecting the pharmaceutical industry from potentially losing billions from a unique threat to the industry's credibility and financial interests. The outcome was Dr. Sebi agreed to a consent judgment. He was barred from making therapeutic claims for his products, selling them as cures, or treating any human ailment without a license, and was ordered to pay $900 in court fees.
The African biomineral balance has to be constructed around an organic or alkali structure. Why? Because it is alkalinity that delivers the energy. There isn't a battery that man makes that is acid. It's an alkali. There is energy. So alkalinity is what produces electricity. And since the human body is also electrical, and you're going to feed it something dead, well, you have not done anything. You're going to have to feed the body electric food. You find electric food, or in resonance of electricity, in what the geologists call native plants. Do you know that there is such word or such understanding, expression, a native plant? What is a native plant? A native plant is a plant that came with nature, that came with the creation of the planet. Not so for a non-native. What is a non-native plant, Dr. Sebi? A carrot, a beet, a beans. Why is that? Because they contain starch. And you will not find energy where there is acid. You find energy where there is alkalinity. Carrot acid, beans acid, rice is acid. So you see, we haven't begun to separate or draw the line of demarcation, separating that which is alkaline from that which is non-alkaline, which is acid. God, all the products of God are alkaline. Because if God had made an acid substance, well now God, what are you talking about? What are you doing? What you're getting? That you're going to feed me acid food? No. God is merciful. God only produced alkaline food. Alkaline food you find in Africa before the invasion, before the occupation, before the Arabs or the Europeans went to Africa. There was nothing but alkaline food. Why? Because the African didn't indulge in separating plants to create a hybrid that would be acid-based. You call that cross-pollination or hybridization. These are the things that are practiced in Europe, China, Japan, not in Africa. We didn't do that. We obey God as it was presented to us.
Dr. Sebi continued his work as a herbalist, curing diseases like AIDS, cancer and diabetes with a plant-based alkaline diet and herbal remedies. He questioned why modern medicine and people insist on using chemicals when they don't work and aren't necessary, often referencing the side effects listed in pharmaceutical ads as proof of their dangers.
Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff muscles, and confusion to address a possible life-threatening condition, or if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these could become permanent. High blood sugar has been reported with Abilify and medicines like it. In some cases, extreme high blood sugar can lead to coma or death. Other risks include decreases in white blood cells, which can be serious, dizziness upon standing, seizures, trouble swallowing, and impaired judgment or motor skills.
His message, if nature didn't make it, don't take it, encouraged people to abandon prescription drugs in favor of natural foods and herbs. As his notoriety grew, so did his list of high-profile clients, including Michael Jackson, who reportedly took Sebi to Washington, D.C. to meet with black congressmen about his work in the early 2000s.
When I had cured these people of sickle cell and lupus and herpes and blindness, I was happy. I said, now I could go to all the leaders. I could go to Minister Farrakhan. I could go to Jesse Jackson. I could go to Al Sharpton. I could go to Oprah Winfrey. But what I found out, I was mistaken. I was wrong. They are not interested in the healing of any black people.
That's an explosive claim.
That is not an explosive statement. That is a reality. There isn't a black leader in America that is interested in the health of the black race.
Do you say that because they refuse to interact with you?
They are not in the position to respond. If they were, my first case of AIDS was cured in 1984. And since then, we've been curing people of lupus and herpes and cancer and blindness. Not one black leader ever said, well, let us help the brother.
His approach was seen as revolutionary, especially in black and Latino communities, where he was viewed as a healer who challenged both the medical establishment and systemic health disparities. This growing cultural impact made him even more threatening to the pharmaceutical industry's dominance. On May 28, 2016, Dr. Sebi and an associate were detained at Roatan Airport in Honduras with between $20,000 and $30,000 in cash, leading to money laundering charges. He was released but rearrested on June 3, 2016 and held in custody. According to official reports, while jailed, he developed pneumonia. Also, according to official reports, Sebi died from complications of pneumonia on August 6, 2016, while being transported to a hospital in Tegucigalpa, Honduras.
There was a reporter that was there the day before his transition, which was on Saturday, August 6th of 2016. And on that Friday, there was a reporter down there, and, they reported that he was, I had spoke to him, and they reported that he was totally fine in good health that Friday, So transitioning from Friday into Saturday, no, it shouldn't have been anything that was different.
I spoke to him about 3 days before he had passed.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be able to say from that conversation that he passed from pneumonia, not based on the information that I've obtained. He said he had been on a 2-week fast at the time, and so he was feeling low and he needed something, and you can tell, But I wouldn't be able to attest that he died of pneumonia. Besides, we had a confession, and so no, I don't believe that.
You had a confession?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A confession as to how he actually died, or
as to how someone participated in his death. But we don't want to speak names, times, things of that nature, because it's an ongoing investigation right now, and I'm very happy that that person came to us to let us know what their part was in it and why, and we appreciate that. But it's an ongoing investigation as to what happened. And no, it wasn't pneumonia.
Wow.
It may have been the symptom of from what was done, no doubt, but there was intrusive factors.
What were his last words to you on that phone call when he was locked up?
I know someone's trying to kill me, so I refuse to eat the food in here. I'm not touching this food. That's why I'm fasting.
Shit.
A lot of this, I'm sorry, Mommy.
Supporters argue that Sebi's arrest and harsh jail conditions were orchestrated to neutralize his influence. They point to the refusal of authorities to grant him bail or adequate medical care as evidence of foul play, with some alleging he was poisoned in jail.
Why do they kill all holistic doctors?
Messing up the medical industry.
You short-stopping their grind. Why do you get killed for hustling in front of your spot? You short-stopping the grind. And they check is billions. You got that get flipped for a couple $100,000.
The release of his autopsy report was never made public, further fueling suspicions. Nipsey Hussle was reportedly working on a documentary about Sebi's life and legacy before Nipsey was unalived in 2019.
I encourage all of you to cleanse or to be very careful about what you put into your body. Because we're ignorant to a lot of things because, we're always watching television or listening to the radio, we think that the things that they're telling us are right. And it's not. Even when the juice bottle says 100% real juice, it's a lie most of the time because as soon as you turn on the back and read the ingredients, it says 17% juice. Well, what's the other 83%? Sugar or water. So, we just gotta, open our eyes, open our minds, really focus on our vehicles and cleaning it out.